So this question addresses sandwich practices. And as a reminder, I share with you all sandwich practices as a creative way to package together your own mindfulness practice, although some of its constituent parts may move outside of the mindfulness practice proper realm, so that you can devise for yourself a daily or a regular practice routine that serves you well and meets you where you are. So the structure of a sandwich practice, like a sandwich, is to have like a primary portion in the middle, which would be a primary mindfulness practice like focused attention or body scan or open monitoring. And the beginning portion and ending portions would be probably shorter, like the buns of a sandwich, and they could be a shorter mindfulness practice, or they could be a relaxation practice or a settling technique of some sort, or something else for that matter. And the idea is, for one who would like to have a 12 or an 18 or 24 or 30-minute morning practice and ritual in this regard, it can be a helpful way of expanding out the time while still feeling comfortable allocating that time, because it's not one practice that some may find to become a source of restlessness or boredom or antsiness. So there's nothing about a sandwich practice that is necessary to do, but many can find it to be a useful way of curating your own regular practice. So the question is, what are the pros and cons of using multiple mindfulness practices instead of settling techniques in a sandwich practice? So I would imagine that it's a comparison of, well, I do a 3-minute body scan, and then I do a 6-minute focused attention, and then I close with a 3-minute open monitoring. That would be 3 mindfulness practices versus settling techniques. So could be 3 settling techniques: box breathing followed by progressive muscle relaxation followed by another round of box breathing. Or maybe the questioner is asking about what people more often grapple with, which is, well, I'll begin with maybe a short relaxation practice using the breath, like box breathing, and then I'll do a focused attention practice, maybe the first for 3 minutes, the focused attention practice for 6 minutes, and then maybe I'll close with an affirmation for a minute. And so what this does is, to take that last example, you have a 10-minute practice, 3, 6, and 1. That may be a practice that works for you. You like to begin with a few minutes of a relaxation breathing practice. You then settle into the focused attention practice, but 6 minutes feels like the right amount for you. And then you close with an affirmation. And that ritualized form of practice can be very useful. So what are the pros and cons of using multiple mindfulness practices instead of settling techniques? I don't think there's any pros and cons. I'll say some of the things that might, as a con, be called a con because it gets in the way of this actually proving to be an enduring practice, an enduring, something that actually lasts. The intention is to craft it in a way that has legs, that will last for you. And you can tweak it, of course, as time passes. So some of the cons, or some of the things that could prove to be cons, is if it's too complicated. I'm doing this, and then I'm doing this, then I'm doing this. That's not what's intended. It's meant to actually become more comfortable, more easeful, and complexity for many will tend to move in a different direction. If you like to have it where you like to do one thing and then you shift gears and do something else, and then shift gears and do something else, well, then you've got 3 different practices, and that's terrific. So that can work well. But one of the downsides might be it's just too complicated, or it feels like you're doing too much. I got to do this, and I do this, then I do this. When we think about a typical focused attention practice as an example, you'll find that in some ways it has a sandwich practice quality, because I often will begin by saying, let's bring attention to the body and take a few slower, deeper breaths. And then after about 2 or 3 minutes, it just naturally turns into focusing attention on the sensations of breathing for a period of time. focused attention practice, and then sort of closes with bringing attention back to the body, aware of breathing in and breathing out. And so in some ways, even it is sandwich-like in that sense, but it feels like it's one coherent practice. And I think we want our sandwich practice to feel like a coherent practice where we're actually interested in and find some satisfaction, whether that's through it being relaxing or it being, we appreciate that we're doing something that's good for our mental capacities of refining attention and cultivating greater awareness, or whatever that might be. So I think the pros are, if it works for you and if you find it useful, that's a pro. And there's no this one's better than that one kind of a calculation. The cons would be it's too complicated, it has too many moving parts, it sounds good, there's a lot of theorizing as to why it would be good, but in practice it just doesn't play out to be enduring in that way. Now, if one has a set of purely settling techniques, one after the other, as their sandwich practice, then it may not be a mindfulness practice. So we want to be clear on it would be a sandwich practice of relaxation practices. And that could be fabulous, but we wouldn't call it a mindfulness practice. But I think we can comfortably sandwich a 6-minute or whatever length of time you would want, 12-minute mindfulness practice in the center, and begin and end with something that is supportive of it, but isn't necessarily one long mindfulness practice. And we can, I think, meaningfully and comfortably call that a mindfulness practice. All good. I hope that's helpful.